Gaming Bolt presents 15 secrets in Assassin's Creed Origins that you totally missed. Not many people had a ton of high hopes for the next Assassin's Creed, but when Origins was revealed over numerous months, it slowly won us over. Like any open world title these days, Assassin's Creed Origins is full of secrets and references, and they range from other Ubisoft titles to movies, one specific movie in particular, and even a Square Enix game. Here are 15 secrets, Easter eggs, and interesting details to discover in Assassin's Creed Origins. The Assassin's Creed movie. Considering the movie last year filled the void of no game being released, it only makes sense that Origins would reference it. This is reflected in emails between protagonist Layla and Sophia, where the former is actually advising the latter on how to build the Animus in the film. Game of Thrones. Much like other games in recent memory, Assassin's Creed Origins pays tribute to Game of Thrones. There's a rare spear in the game called Needle, and the caption reads, "Stick 'em with the pointy end," which references Jon Snow's quote to Arya Stark. It even confers bleeding on hit, just like real pointy things. Final Fantasy XV. In Sakara Nome, you'll come across a hieroglyph of a man holding a sword across from another man with a hat and a single wing. Look familiar? This is a reference to Final Fantasy, with antagonist Arden on the left and protagonist Noctis on the right. The boots kinda give it away, to be honest, and if this seems weird, then clearly you didn't check out the Assassin's Festival in Final Fantasy XV. Indiana Jones. Sooner or later, Bayek will have to explore the Caretaker's Shrine during a quest. Head there and you'll come across numerous snakes, with Bayek exclaiming, "Why did it have to be snakes?" This is a reference to Indiana Jones' famous line from Raiders of the Lost Ark. Nothing that a little fire can't fix in Origins, though.
Snakes again! Why did it have to be snakes?
Gladiator. Remember the scene in Gladiator where Maximus is near death and walking across a wheat field in the afterlife to be with his son and wife? Assassin's Creed Origins captures that, sort of. When Bayek walks through a wheat field, he'll move his hands through it much like Maximus did. Not when he's dying, mind you, just whenever. Whale Valley. There's a certain lake in Fayum, not the large body of water that connects it to Fayum Oasis though, which contains the skeleton of a whale. This is a reference to the real-world location Wadi El Hitan, or Whale Valley in Egypt, which is a UNESCO World Heritage Site and contains hundreds of fossils detailing the evolution of whales. Doctor Who. If you head over the body of water near Letopolis and go diving, you'll eventually come across what seems to be a sunken police box. Doctor Who fans will recognize this as the Doctor's famous TARDIS, a machine capable of traveling through space and time. What's it doing in Egypt? Well, what isn't it doing? Aiden Pierce. When playing as Layla, you'll spot a laptop off to the side. Access it, and there will be numerous folders on the home screen. Select Olivier Garneau, and you'll be able to read up on the Chief Creative Officer at Abstergo Entertainment. Well, former CCO, that is. There's also a CCTV of someone shooting Garneau in the head. And who else would it be but Aiden Pierce from Watch Dogs with his trademark trench coat and hat? Desmond Miles. It's an Assassin's Creed game, so of course there's gonna be references to Desmond Miles. If you look on the same laptop next to a folder of Olivier Garneau, you'll spot a folder with Desmond's name on it. You'll see medical reports, autopsy photos, and whatnot, some of which may be familiar to those who played Assassin's Creed 4 Black Flag. There's also a special character in-game who has some kind of relationship with Desmond, but we'll wait for you to find it for yourself. Unicorn Mount. So technically, this isn't a secret, but if you never explored the in-game microtransaction store, you'd probably never know this. Basically, you can purchase a mount that's a unicorn. No, we're not beating around the bush, it's a white unicorn, horn and all. Helix credits are required to purchase it, and those can be earned either with real money or by finishing the first few story missions near the beginning of the game. Flaming Sword. The overall variety of loot in Assassin's Creed Origins is pretty okay. By action RPG standards, there aren't a lot of power fantasy weapons to be had, except of course, Hepzibah's sword. You acquire this blade later on in the campaign, but its main trait is that it's always on fire. Swiping at enemies will share the fire with them, and it's well worth picking up, especially for its additional perks. Hallucinations. If you leave Bayek out in the desert for long enough, he'll eventually get heat stroke and start hallucinating. Such hallucinations will include bugs raining from the sky, actual bugs, not the usual Ubisoft ones, a fish flopping out of the water, and even a burning bush that can be found if you follow a piece of cloth. It's a little surreal to be honest, and there's possibly even more hallucinations to discover. Isu Armor. To obtain the best looking armor set in the game, namely the Isu Armor, you'll need to jump through a few hoops. It involves going to the game's various stone circles, solving the constellation puzzles, going into the Sphinx statue, and garnering and depositing 50 silica. Keep in mind that some stone circles are in high-level areas, so only pursue the Isu Armor when you're level 40 or higher, or ideally when you've beaten the game, whatever works better for you. Dark Souls. You'll find a sword buried in a mound of dirt and bones. Maybe it's the lightning and the overall mood, but this reminds us of the bonfires from Dark Souls. Granted, it's not a blaze, but really with the combat and everything else, it could just be more than a coincidence. MKH. If you head over to Memphis and wander around long enough, you'll find a green patch with roses in it. Observe the patch from up high and the initials MKH can be seen. What does it mean? Some speculate that it could be an animator or environmental artist leaving their initials for players to find. Either way, it's there and someone should own up to it. Or even better, take credit for it.
And that'll be about it for this one. If you guys like what we're doing at Gaming Vault, please consider subscribing to our channel, and I'll see you guys on the next video.